Hey there, Icarus here, and welcome to a Mod Madness Roundup. Why a roundup, you may ask? Well, because there's too many mods, too little time, and why not smush at least 3 of them here that I've played recently into one handy-dandy video. Kicking off, of course, with Insanity Edged. Unusual name. I imagine they would have gone with Insanity's Edge, but after some cursory googling I discovered that there is in fact a mod already with that name, so hey-ho, when life gives you lemons and all that. Regardless, this is actually a sequel. A sequel to what? Winter's Goddamn Fury. And if you're not familiar with Winter's Fury, it is an absolute all-timer when it comes to the pantheons of mods taking advantage of GZ Doom's bells and whistles, and recently had the benefit of a spruced up 10th anniversary edition, which I heartily implore you to check out if you haven't done so already. But back to the subject of Insanity Edged, this follows a different character, different kind of narrative, and does crisscross in a few tangential, interesting ways to the stuff already laid down in Winter's Fury. But yeah, it very much feels like it's going its own way, and it also feels like it's relentlessly hitting me in the balls with a hammer. This is a really challenging mod. Make no bones about it. I played this on Hurt Me Plenty, because I was a little trepidatious about the ultra-violence difficulty. You never can tell with any given mod these days. One author's idea of ultra-violence is sometimes very far removed from another author's idea, so I thought I'd hedge my bets, play it safe, and oh god, it does not waste much time when it comes to showing you who's boss and what kind of challenge you're going to be dealing with. In terms of what to expect level-to-level wise, expect really architecturally stunningly designed levels, intricate, interlinked, and when they're done giving you the guided tour in the more quiet sections, they absolutely brim with enemies and feature some utterly breathless run-on fights from room to room, section to section, that will test your abilities and also test your ammunition management too, because ammo starvation is certainly a feature throughout the course of Insanity Edged. I'd probably say that's an element of the experience I appreciate the least. It's certainly a tool that authors can use to amp up the intensity of encounters, making you really scavenge throughout an area in order to just have enough to scrape by through any given encounter, but I feel like it just keeps happening over and over and over, and God does it get exhausting. The exhaustion is probably exacerbated somewhat by the habit of this mod to really stuff latter levels with archviles and archvile variants. It was getting f***ing ridiculous, and I just wanted to shoot myself in the head every time I saw one. In fact, at one point I did. Just it's not loaded. It is now! Despite the suicidal tendencies that the latter end of this mod inspired in me, I cannot deny the visual splendor of Insanity Edged. I'm not kidding, there were some moments where I had to just stop dead and appreciate what I was looking at. One moment just has a level absolutely bathed in this golden sunset. I don't think I've seen anything quite like it, and damn. But yeah, fair warning if you're thinking of picking this one up, Hurt Me Plenty Upwards will generally shove something painful where the sun don't shine, but if you're into that stuff, hey, go nuts. And it will cause a little bit of chugginess every now and again because, as you might imagine, it does lean quite heavily on the visual effects, and it does occasionally stress the capabilities of GZ Doom, or conversely, whatever rig you're running with. And just for sake of reference, my rig ain't too bad. I still got chugs.
Don't lose your tits. I see them.
And now for something completely different. Ever wondered what Devil May Cry 5 might feel like if it were populated by the cast of Half-Life 2? No? Well, here it is anyway. Welcome to Devil May Crowbar. A delightful mod that replaces Nero with Dr. Kleiner, V with Father Gregory, and Dante with, of course, Gordon Goddamn Freeman. Other Half-Life characters also make appearances as other members of the cast. I was notably quite amused with the replacement of other characters such as Lady with Dr. Breen. Look at him. He looks so comfy wrapped up in that blanket. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, you're getting impressed by a rote model swap. But no, this goes a little further than your average model swap, in my opinion. You've got certain actions within battle replaced with original character voice lines. You've also got the swapping out of certain visual effects. Notably, Kleiner's Devil Trigger gives him these mechanical wings that are infused with Zen energy. His weapons in particular also custom. The handgun, being the tool gun, is great, even produces the same sound. And one touch that really impressed me when I realized what was happening was that the standard battle theme for Nero has a version of Triage at Dawn mixed in on top. It's such a good touch. Amongst the other notable changes, various enemy types are also swapped out with recognizable enemies from Half-Life 2. You've got Stalkers, you've got Combine Soldiers making appearances, you've even got guest appearances from Half-Life Alyx. You'll have certainly noticed Jeff kicking about in a few of these fights. This even extends to the occasional boss character. You'll have seen the Gargantua swapped in a previous clip, and you'll also have the likes of Combine Mounted Cavalry while you're playing as Father Grigori. It's great. What can I say? I'm easily pleased by stuff like this. I like Half-Life, I like Devil May Cry 5, smush them together, I'm in my happy place. Still making my way through it for the largest part. At the most recent juncture, Dante had made his appearance, or should I say Gorgeous Freeman. Holy moly, was that a hype moment, and I gotta admit, it is still weird seeing words actually coming out of Gordon Freeman's mouth. But, you know, I can get past that, because the sheer raw enjoyability of playing through Devil May Cry 5 like this is worth it. It's a lot of fun. We'll absolutely be continuing with a playthrough on this one. Feel free to join me over on the Twitch channel if you feel like experiencing it with me in real time. If you can't make it, don't worry, I'll ideally be putting together some highlights for it at some point in the future, of which you can find over on the secondary channel, Icarus Lives Again. Last but certainly not least, I bring you news that GZChaos has finally entered version 1.0. If you're not familiar with the conceit of GZChaos, it is a mod entirely designed to screw with you in every conceivable way possible. This is done through the medium of a timer bar that'll scroll across during the course of your playthrough. Every time it hits the opposite side, it'll apply a new randomized effect. The effect list is huge. They range from the amusing, to the irritating, to the downright absolutely vindictive. Not kidding on that last one either. There's an effect in here that will straight up kill you in the middle of a run. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an effect in here that straight up causes a crash to desktop. Some of the more personally irritating effects that I've come across on a regular basis include the blur filter, which irritates me on several levels because, for one, I already need glasses. I don't need an effect applied that simulates what it's already like when I forget where I put them. Also in the irritation category is the like of weapon speed, which usually slows it down to a crawl, meaning that if you got a weapon that requires a reload animation, that can sometimes take a painfully long time before it's ready to be fired once again. And just to round it out, I'd also throw in the no depth perception modifier, which, I mean, just look at it. It's a straight-up visual nightmare with enemies, spent brass, and pickups appearing larger the further away they are. And considering I played this on a slaughter map, yeah, it got real trippy real quick. In terms of the stuff that amused me, I'm a fan of the modifier that causes all items in the level to become flatulent. The one that actually turns the level into a rendition of Ghoul's Forest for a period of time, that was very interesting, quite tense. And yes, did in fact include an appearance of the Jitter Skull itself. And there was another fun effect that caused every kill to generate a one-liner from your player character, which, considering I was playing on a slaughter map, meant it happened quite frequently and often overlapped to a cacophonous degree. Seriously though, that is just a small sampling of the many, many varied effects that GZChaos could inflict on you during the course of a run. Be warned, there is no balance here, there is no fairness. Effects will quite often stack one on top of the other. Sometimes there's effects that are present just to extend the duration of previous effects, leading to situations such as the blur filter persisting for much longer than I wanted it to. Which is fine, it's perfectly fine, it's not fucking irritating in the slightest. And don't get me started on that one time where all of the imps now fired rockets. Yeah, that particular scenario can just go f itself. But if you know what you're getting yourself into, GZChaos can be a tremendous amount of fun. Happily, you'll also discover that GZChaos is uber compatible. You can smash this together with a very wide variety of mods, and you'll find that it'll truck along just fine. In this case, I smushed it together with Slaughterfest 2012, which was the map set, and Trailblazer, which I heavily recommend. Really, really entertaining gameplay mod. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to cook up some kind of unholy combination that makes the situation even more chaotic. Time will tell. But until next time, that about wraps up this edition of Mod Madness Roundup. If you'd like to see more videos like this in future, feel free to leave a comment down below, and if you really want to help me out when it comes to attracting the attention of Papa Algorithm, feel free to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. While I'm at it, I'd like to give a great big sloppy thank you to my wonderful patrons. There go their names scrolling up screen right now. And if you'd like to join them and help support my humble endeavors across the internet, you can do so from the low price of $1 a do. It genuinely helps me to keep the lights on, alleviates some of the stress when it comes to thinking about YouTube ad rev, and in general, lets me know that you like what I do. But until next time, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.